It's fantasy basketball playoff time. Let's take a look at the odds and drops for this week in fantasy basketball. Coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. We're going to take a look at some players that you should be considering dropping from your squad and picking up for your squad here coming into the first week of fantasy basketball playoffs. Before we get started, of course, if you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and hit the notification bell so that way you will be notified when we go live or we post something on the channel. Let's get started here. A little controversial here to start. He's been in the media all year long. Russell Westbrook, 84% owned, 23 minutes per game last week, 7 points, 3.5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 43% shooting from the field, 33% from the line. He is somebody that I would consider dropping here for the rest of the season. Terrence Mann is now in closing some games now for the Clippers, and they've been winning of late with less impact from Westbrook. So I have a feeling that this is a trend that can continue throughout the rest of the year, which may cause Westbrook to fall off a lot of rosters. And if you're battling in playoffs, you need somebody that is going to be able to give you more than what Westbrook could be giving you here if he's only getting 20 minutes per game. So if you have him on your squad, maybe not an immediate drop. I might play it out for a game or two just to see kind of how things are happening, but be prepared to drop him for the rest of the year here. Next up, we're going to go to Miami. Kyle Lowry, 66% owned, 36 minutes on the game that he played here last week. 12 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 50% from the field and 50% from the line. Had a nice game in his return here. Played quite a few minutes, but he's a major injury risk. And kind of the same thing as Westbrook. Right now, for your rosters, it's do or die time. This is the point where you built your rosters up to be able to last in the playoffs. Kyle Lowry just does not fit the bill in most cases. Certainly not going to fit the bill on my teams. You know, low-end rosterable starting point guard for fantasy all season long, and that's not even including the injury risk. So if you see somebody that is going to be more impactful over the course of the season, over the course of the week, then I would consider dropping Lowry for that person. Up next, we are going to go to Indiana. Benedict Mathurin's 58% owned, 17 minutes per game last week, 7 points, 1 rebound, 39% shooting from the field, 50% from the line. He's coming off a right ankle sprain, likely would miss the game today. He's not really a good category producer there as well. He's been a solid volume shooter on not great percentages kind of all season long, but he doesn't really impact you in any other category except for 3-pointers and points. So another person that doesn't really fit a playoff roster if you're trying to compete for categories, I would consider dropping Mathurin here for this week for that reason. Going to Atlanta, we are looking at Onyeka Okongwu, 52% owned, 19 minutes per game last week, 7.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1 block, 52% shooting from the field, 57% from the line. Talked about Okongwu here last week. Great production per minute, but just simply not getting enough minutes to be able to create an impact here on a playoff fantasy squad. So if you're holding on to him, there are better options out there at center that you can pick up. That's going to do you. It's going to do you better off there for the week for sure. So I would feel comfortable dropping Okongwu here for the week. And to wrap up our drop candidates, we've got Jared Vanderbilt from the Lakers, 67% owned, 26 minutes per game last week, 7.7 points, 5.7 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 2 steals, 53% shooting from the field, 83% from the line. Vanderbilt is borderline rosterable. I mean, he's certainly better than some of the other options you can pick up off the waiver wire. But the only real complaint I have, or the biggest complaint I have with Vanderbilt, is he doesn't seem to have a consistent role on this team. He'll get some minutes more, some games less, some other games. He'll have, you know, solid turnouts, good double-double potential here some games, and then he'll just completely disappear in others. Again, at this point of the season here, you can't really have that. You need to be able to count on your players to be able to give you some consistent statistics over the course of the week in order to be able to compete in your playoffs here. Vanderbilt is just too much of a risk, performance risk, to be able to feel comfortable having him on a squad. And especially if LeBron happens to return this week here, that's just going to mean less usage for Vanderbilt. So I would feel pretty good to just have him off the team altogether. Okay, let's take a look at some players that you can pick up. We're going to start in Detroit. We're going to go Killian Hayes, 45% owned. 4 games he's going to be playing this week here. 28 minutes per game here last week. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 1.5 steals. 30% from the field, 67% from the line. Bogdanovic is probably going to be done for the season at this point. I don't see any need for Detroit to rush him back here to play a couple of meaningless games. And Detroit, of course, plays 4 times here this week. Jaden Ivey's out for the short term with COVID protocols, so that's going to give some opportunity for Killian Hayes for sure to start the week, but still is going to be rosterable here as the week continues, just because there's going to be more opportunities with Bogdanovic out of the lineup. Killian's going to be good for assists and stocks. He's certainly going to hurt you in percentages. You're not getting him to be able to win your field goal or free throw percentage categories. He's more for the other stuff. So pick him up if you need him. He should be available there for you in your leagues. Next up, we're going to go to Golden State. Dante DiVincenzo, 44% owned. 4 games he's going to be playing this week. He averaged 30 minutes per game last week. 9.7 points, 6 rebounds. 3.7 assists, 1.7 steals, 35% shooting from the field, 100% from the line. Like Detroit, you're going to get 4 games played by Golden State here this week. And Wiggins' injury is going to make Dante DiVincenzo roster-worthy here for the week for sure. He's going to help you out in threes and steals. Bit of a drag for field goal percentage here, although I don't expect him to be 35 again this week. He should probably be closer to your mid-40s in that range. But definitely going to be somebody I would have on my roster here for the week, especially if you need steals and threes. He's going to be a good player to have for sure. Next up, we're going to be going to Houston. KJ Martin, 48% owned. 4 games this week here for Houston. 30 minutes per game last week, 15.7 points, 2.7 rebounds, 1 assist. 61% shooting from the field, 64% from the line. He's had a drop in rebound percentages here the last week, but I'm not really all that concerned about that. He's got a major role on a tanking team that plays 4 times, so, you know, do what you need. If he's sitting out there, definitely worth a spot. I would expect him to be closer to 5 to 7 rebounds here this week than the 2.7 he posted here last week. Up next, we got, well, we can pretty much pair these here. Going back to Detroit, the 2 big men, Jalen Duren and James Wiseman. We'll start with Duren, 50% owned, 4 games to play, of course, this week. 21 minutes per game in the game, or last week in the 2 games he played. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1.5 blocks, 50% shooting from the field, 80% from the line. He's going to be pairing with Wiseman at center. That's pretty much a given. But given that Marvin Bagley went down with an injury here, and of course Stewart's hasn't returned yet, I could very well see Jalen Duren and James Wiseman, for that point, getting some extra time at the power forward position here while the other 2 are recovering from their injury. And then to tie in with James Wiseman, 60% owned, 27 minutes per game here last week, 16.3 points, 8.5 rebounds, 1.8 blocks, 64% shooting from the field, 67% from the line. He's going to be profiling similarly to Duren, a little less hustle stats, a little more offensive potential, can shoot the 3 sort of with Wiseman here, but the opportunity is about the same. Wiseman gets the starts, Duren comes off the bench, but both of them might see some time there at power forward as well. That's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it here. If you did, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We are going to sign off for now, but we are going to catch you guys on our next episode.